Welcome to this week's edition of It's All Outdoors, the podcast brought to you in part by our good friends out at Sportsman's Warehouse and Arctic Ice. They're always a click away at sportsmans.com, and go check out Arctic Ice on Facebook and at arctic-ice.net. All right, go check them out. And hey, don't forget, Respect the Game TV. It's all brought to you by all those people each and every week right here. I got Larry McCoy. Larry Mack, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. We're recording a little earlier today, so I'm a little chipper.
You're chipper?
I'm chipper, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It probably doesn't make sense to you, Dan, but some of our listeners, it'll make sense to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna just move right along. So, Larry's been all over the place down there in Missouri, so that's why he's chipper. He's anxious to get turkey hunting. I am too. Our guest this week is Dave Larsen. Dave has been buddies of ours for a long, long time. He's one of the owners of Gamehide Clothing, and I've been wearing Gamehide now for, I want to say, probably 17, 18 years, if not longer. Larry, I imagine you've been around there too. It's just really great stuff. But I think one of the neatest things that we can talk about with Dave, and we'll get into this later in the podcast, but those guys declared war on ticks, and man, were they successful, Larry Mack.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Yeah. I mean, I was excited about this because it's getting that time of year. And down the south, I imagine the ticks are already showing their little ugly mugs. But right now, you got people out looking for sheds. There's warm days like this. They're going to start this sparking. And Gamehide has a product that helps keep you safe and from anybody insect for that matter.
Yeah, they eliminate ticks. Well, but it's a limit tick, but we'll tell you more about that. Dave, good morning there to you up there in Minnesota. Are you wading through snow yet, there, young man?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we still are wading through some snow, which this time of year can be an awesome time to go out and get any ice fishing in. The guys are still doing a lot of hard water fishing up here, and like Larry mentioned, perfect time to go out and start looking for sheds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just got rid of our snow pretty much. I mean, I'm finding, I got more dog poo than I do anything, but I'm waiting for Larry. Larry's going to be up here next week, and hopefully Larry, Ryan, Kent, and Paul, and everybody, Jason, and can get together and we go shed hunt the farm we hunted last year, because there's some monsters laying around there. But we had 18 inches of snow, but it should be pretty much gone by next week, I hope.
Yeah, crazy. I think you guys had more snow there, Dan, in central Iowa than we had certainly in the southern part of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Larry, I know we sent a lot of cold spells all the way down through you, and gosh, the poor folks down in Texas really got hammered. So it's been an interesting month.
Yeah, for sure. We actually, all of our snow's off. I'm itching to get out and look for some antlers. So it's finally starting to warm up here and starting to feel like give you that first little taste of spring.
Yeah, nice warm days. And one of the things I love to do this time of year too is go out and chase some coyotes. A lot of the states have continuous coyote seasons or whatever, but you get the that sub-zero stuff out of here. It's a little nicer, and at least up in this part of the world, there's still decent snow cover. Pretty fun time to go grab a buddy and a caller and go see if you can find some yotes somewhere.
Yeah, it was a good time in Wisconsin too here lately, wasn't it? For it to kill some predators.
Oh, it was, and boy, they got it done quickly, didn't they?
Yeah, I was surprised when looking at the quota, keeping up, and I was like, wow, they're there. As a matter of fact, they're over. The DNR is like, we got to shut her down, boys.
Yeah. You guys talking about the wolf season, right?
Correct.
Yeah. How many?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Last I saw was 53 something. We were talking to Chris the other day, Larry, but what did it end up being?
They were at I think 119 or 129 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
When they announced the shutdown, but they're that is an instant, so they know there's certainly more coming in because the guys have got a little bit of time to register them.
Yeah.
But they weren't quite at quota yet, but they got there so darn quick. They decided they better shut her down, or otherwise they're going to go way over.
Yeah.
And
good sound management.
It is. I was fortunate that when I was driving up through the very northern part of Wisconsin, coming out of the UP this last Sunday, And I don't know if a lot of your listeners, our listeners may not know this, but there's a pretty decent elk herd up in that forest called the Squamigan National Forest up in northern Wisconsin. And the whole wolf deal is gotten pretty controversial up in that part of the state. They're pretty entrenched there, but I was fortunate enough to see a spike in a cow on my drive there,
Oh,
which
cool.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's unlike any elk country I've been in because it's just all big forest, a lot of coniferous type forests up there, and not a lot of remote areas. So they have gone to the extent of putting elk crossing signs that have lights on them. And any of the elk that are radio collared, and the cow I saw did have a collar on it, it'll set off a signal to that crossing sign and cause it to flash if there's elk. And I don't know what the distance is, within a quarter mile of it or something. So it'll get people's attention to, hey, to slow down. There's elk near the road here somewhere.
That's exciting because I'm hoping they ever do something up in Minnesota. Minnesota is kind of an enigma to me because it's such a conservational state. I mean, you got tremendous fisheries up there. You got bear hunting, you got deer hunting. There used to be a healthy moose population. Now it's almost, if there is any moose left up there, it's in that northeast section. And a lot of it's done because of the predation of the bears and the wolves. And I don't understand why they haven't come around on that, Dave. I mean, you live up there. I know a lot of my friends that live up there are just livid about it.
Oh yeah, and we're dying to get that wolf season back. Wisconsin did, in my opinion, as a avid outdoorsman, a great thing, and where they said if the wolf were delisted off of the endangered species list, they have to have a wolf season. So that's what that got pulled off. I can't remember what date it was, but like late this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that ruling, they had to have a wolf season by the end of February, by March 1st. So they literally opened it up just last week because that's all the time that was left by the time they pulled that delisting down. But look at what they did in just a few days.
Yeah.
It just tells you how many wolves are out there.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. And the thing is, I mean, even out west, that's been a controversy for quite some time since they reintroduced the wolves out west. I mean, they will do over a period of time, a short period of time, they can do a lot of damage to an elk herd, a deer herd. Uh, it's totally something that needs to be in control, in my opinion. I know that it's controversial in a lot of areas, but being active, conservationist and outdoorsman, we're not just hunters. We want to conserve the land. Those herds are very important to our ecosystem. To being able to go to Yellowstone and see what you envision, what you see on National Geographic films and all this other stuff. Being able to experience that with wolves in there, and if they're not controlled, that goes away.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Well, it all goes back down to carrying capacity. I mean, the land is only going to support so much life, and if you don't have the habitat there and you get overpopulated, you get disease, and then the predation gets out of hand. I mean, it's just a mess. And that's a scientific. I mean, that's a proven fact. It's not a hypothesis. That's carrying capacity is a fact. And you just got some folks are just going to have to take the emotion out of it. And we're stewards of the land, right, guys? I mean, we love to hunt and fish, but we're charged of stewardship of the land, and that all goes together.
And you guys hit it dead. I mean, most of us, and certainly the three of us, and I think most hunters, they don't necessarily want no wolves. We you know what I mean? That's part of the ecosystem as well. But you need to manage them, just like everything else. I mean, man's influenced so many different things, and they've certainly influenced, where the wolves live and how they live and everything else. But we don't want to totally protect that resource because it artificially pounds on other resources like the deer and the elk herds.
Yeah. Well, look at coyotes.
So,
look at the urban sprawl of the coyotes, guys. Look how many people's pets have been Buffy and Muffins gotten munched by coyotes that are in the city because they're not managed properly. I shouldn't chuckle. It's not funny, but I mean, it's just we all have to take ownership and be stewards of the land. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing, exactly. The thing too is, you brought up, us as people. We've been literally, we're part of the issue as well because as our population grows, as urbanization grows, people are putting up subdivisions, people are putting up new strip malls, or at least they were. Guess what happens? You know, the animals and stuff that once housed there, they've got to go somewhere else, and it's
Yep.
really condensing them down to different areas. So therefore, predators, they're going to go to where the food's at as well. It's just really about a management practice that I'm happy to see some of these states stepping up and recognizing, this could be a potential issue, and trying to do something to get it under control.
Absolutely. I wish they'd do something about the cougars because, man, I tell you what, I went to the mall the other day and I had 2 or 3 cougars, man, and it wasn't pretty. They need to do something about those ladies.
Oh, come on! You better hit a sound effect. You better hit a sound effect button right now, Dan, because we know you're lying.
Especially with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
If he thinks
Thank
he's
you.
being
I
stalked,
appreciate it.
wow,
Thank
he's
you.
in
Thank
for
you.
Yeah. The spot and stalker. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Going back to what Dave said earlier about the lighted sign, I actually could picture in my head Dan sitting at a tree stand with a sign right out in front of him, and him looking down on his phone. All of a sudden, it lights up. Oh, where's he at?
Yeah.
I got one near.
Yeah, I like that.
He,
Yeah.
he finally has to wake up.
Yeah.
Say, I better pay attention.
We should have a
Playing this
system
crossword
called,
puzzle.
a deer alert. I think that would be a top seller. Yeah.
It would be it would be a vest that Gamehide can make, Dave, that just vibrates and everyone comes hey.
I like
Hey,
that.
I am not talking to Dave about vests anymore. I gave him 4 or 5 stellar ideas for vests, and he just totally ignored me on them. So forget
Wow,
it.
I'm getting beat up, folks, on a
Yeah.
on an item.
I mean,
both things
million
that
dollar
really
ideas.
shopping for.
Yeah, Miller.
I got your back, Dave. I've got your back on this one. I mean, we had the go gadget vest in productions. Then we realized it was gonna, it was gonna cost about $612 just to retail it by the time we got through it.
And we couldn't figure out how to get the antenna to fold down there. They
Yeah.
wanted it on the back of that thing. So
Exactly.
They're totally out of proportion, folks. It was very streamlined, economical, and it would have been $1 million SKU. Trust me.
we would have all been spending most of our time in our tree stand trying to figure out where we put what, because there was 438 pockets on that thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like I feel my cell phone. I can't get to it. I don't know what's
Uh-huh. It's just like a couple years ago, Mr. Larsen. I told you take that hand warmer, that hand muff, and then you put a little plastic deal on the inside so you could slide your phone in there, and then just flip your pad up, and then that way you don't have to take your phone in and out. And I can't do. I don't know if that. And then wasn't even 2 years later, they had like 2 companies out with that.
Oh yeah, there are a couple of them out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm a little old school that way, Dan. I'm going out in my tree stand to get away from all of that.
Well, I got responsibilities.
Day-to-day
I got listeners, man.
technology deal.
Yeah, I got to take care of my
Out
listeners.
there.
So how was your
And
season?
it's Pop-Tarts.
We only got like 4 minutes left now. So how was your season last year, Mr. Larsen?
I had a great season. I honestly did more waterfowl hunting than anything else. I've got a 5-year-old yellow lab that's right in his prime there. So I worked that pretty hard. I hunted quite a bit over kind of your way, Dan, but over on the Missouri side of the state of Iowa there. Did a bunch there. I did some in Minnesota, and I did a bunch in northwestern Wisconsin.
Well, Cody had a good season.
Yeah, and we always hunt. Our firearm deer season, we did good.
Yeah.
I'd say about normal. We had a little with the whole COVID thing. I'm sure other listeners out there had some of those issues too, trying to figure out. Some folks weren't as comfortable coming into a deer camp, but so we had a little bit smaller camp than we usually do. But I think we ended up with 5 tags filled out of 6 guys, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's
and then
good.
my son and Cody and my nephew Jake both shot just studs down in our farm, and which is really fun to see.
Yeah,
I got a 170-inch 12-pointer, and then my son shot a 153-inch 8-pointer. So
yeah, they almost had a Larry McCoy season.
Well, not quite, but
Yeah. Those don't come along. You got to take them as they come, because I can promise you, I will probably never have a year like I did this past season. But
Oh yes,
yeah, I saw pictures of those bucks, and they were some studs. There's no doubt. I was envious of that. I was like, man, that looks like That looked like it was going to be a. I bet you, I would just love to be there, especially during those, during the rut. I love hearing other people's stories and how they were successful, how it all went down. I mean, you learn a lot from other people.
And those you do, Larry. Yep, and those magical days during the rut. And kind of a fun story on my son's buck. He got into a stand that morning, and got in there nice and early, and just did not like the wind direction. It was, there's quite a few hills in that area, and you guys know how those hills play with the thermals and the wind directions, and it wasn't doing what he thought it would do there. So he just had a bad feeling, got out of that stand and literally walked just a few hundred yards over to this other stand, jumped in that stand, and it turned out to be a right move. He said there were deer all over that other stand, but the wind was going right to them. And we're big ozonic believers, so he had all the right stuff going. But obviously you don't want to set yourself up knowing your scent's going to be blowing into an area where those deer are coming from, and it ended up working out great for him. And in fact, the buck he shot, he saw 2 different times earlier that day, and for one period, like an hour, over by the other stand he was going to sit in. You could see that stand, but he got fortunate and figured that eventually the thing would work and scent check that other side, and that's what he did. So,
man, yeah, that's awesome.
All
Just
works
being able
out.
to maneuver and adapt to those situations. It's always fascinating to me, and like I said, you learn so much from other hunters. That's what's so awesome about communicating with people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, our show, we're able to document it and document some of that stuff, but I take a lot of value into going to like the Iowa Deer Classic, being able to talk to other hunters and share those stories, and because, like I said, I mean, I learned a lot from other people and other hunters, and love just sharing those successful things.
Yeah, no doubt. And part of the fun, you guys, if those of us that are fortunate to have a private piece of property to hunt, although I do a lot of public ground hunting myself. But in this case, we have a private in there. It's been so fun to watch some of the management things, as we were talking about it before. We're all kind of gamekeepers, and the fact that we're out there, trying to make our piece of property better wildlife habitat. That benefits obviously the critters we like to hunt, but also the critters we don't hunt. Everybody's benefiting from it.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun, and trying to figure out, entrance strategies to get to these stands and exit strategies that, obviously tip the odds in your favor. And it's all that thought process going into these things, and then watch it play out during the season and have it work, successfully, is a pretty rewarding experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you talk about entry and exit to stands. I was talking with the folks down at Backwoods Attraction about they've got a product that I tested a little bit through this last year called Incognito. It is what it is. It's a barrier plot, and it grows to about 12 foot tall that you can put, space it out within a food plot or just area. It's very inexpensive. It grows super easy, but it provides that cover to help you, access, some of your hot spots and stuff without being seen, and just makes you a little bit more covert. I was really, really pleased with that. And just one example of, making one little, move, and changing something up just a little bit, how it can benefit and help you,
Yeah,
Right.
that's cool. I've heard of those products. There's some sorghums that do that, and some sort of I forget, some kind of something in the wheat family, I think, that grow really tall like that. But what an awesome idea, because they're annuals.
Yeah.
And obviously we want to make sure which companies, like Backwoods does this to make sure they're not an invasive species you're putting in there. They're just an annual that's going to go away. And what an awesome way to do that, not only for entry into stands or exits to get out of there, but also I've found a great need for that for places where you might have a road come by where people tend to stop and gawk at maybe a food plot you have or whatever. You can use those to kind of get those people keep moving around, and they don't mess up hunts where you're sitting back in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it'd be fun to try. And I've in some of the properties I've been fortunate to hunt, we cedar trees or any of the coniferous type trees can work like that, but obviously they take a long time to grow. So you're planning so far out. This thing can be that season, you can put that stuff in, this spring and have it working for you this fall. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and building a safety barrier because everybody talks about I'm getting pictures of these deer that it's all nighttime. Well, when you can actually put something there to make the deer feel a little safer, whether that's a barrier on the outside so people can't see in, or little patches in of that tall stuff within your food plot, to where that cover's there, you will start to get more daylight photos. The deer will be more active because they're going to feel safer going there, in the daylight. So it's I've found a huge tactic that I've added to just be able to, like I said, it's inexpensive to do. It grows super easy. For late season ground blind hunting, it's great cover for a ground blind. You can actually plan it. Put a piece of plywood down and plan around it so it comes up bare there. That way you can just go in and pop your blind up, snip out your shooting lanes, and put it in there for late season. There's a lot of really cool ways that you can utilize that type of that tactic.
Awesome trick with the plywood. That's perfect. You don't even have to trim it. You got a nice bare ground there. That's a great idea. And and you guys are doing the same thing. Especially coming up to it seems like the Iowa Deer Classic always hits at the perfect time when it's a great time to go out and as the snow cover leaves, all the scrapes are still visible and everything else. It's such a great time to go walk any place you're going to hunt, whether it's private or public, and just learn that much more about it. Because everything's there just like it was last fall. And, you guys mentioned, the Limited product. And as we get these warm days, obviously those it's crazy how fast those ticks will come out. But, so be careful with that. And I mean that not to sell a Limited product, but obviously the Lyme disease can be pretty serious to a lot of people. So be aware and careful of that. That issue out there. But gosh, what a great time of year to jump in the woods and be able to see what it was like just like last fall and figure out new strategies for stand placements and bedding areas, and all of that is so apparent this time of year.
Yeah. Well, we're getting into turkey season. We're getting into crappie fishing. So there's going to be a lot of folks fishing on banks and out in small ponds and lakes. And then you got morel mushroom hunting coming up. So that's the trifecta of the spring, and everybody going out there needs to protect themselves. And that Elimitech stuff, Dave, I've been wearing it for over 6 years now, and I haven't had a tick since I've been wearing it. And it works. I mean, Larry, I mean, how many times have you been to different deer camps filming the show, and you've had people, you and Ryan or somebody's went out and put stuff up, and you come back and you're fine. Everybody else is just ate up from chiggers and ticks. I mean, I know that's happened through several times to you.
Oh, for sure, it has, and it really. It made a believer out of me. I know, Dan, you were a big part of telling us and introducing us to the Elimitech product. And I know that there's probably people out there that are skeptical. Oh, it's in the clothing or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, it just flat out works, and we've proven it time and time again in deer camps and turkey camps, and going out mushroom hunting. Maybe you don't want to wear camo. They have a khaki work pant and stuff that's going to be protect you. But like you said, chiggers, for some reason, I don't know why, I must taste good to them, but I used to always get eat up with chiggers. And since I've been wearing a Elimitech, I'm not, dude, I'll walk through anything with when I've got a Elimitech on.
Yeah, and anywhere you're covered up, Dave, I mean, I know you don't promote this enough or talk about it, but anywhere that your skin's covered, the mosquitoes, they'll land on you, but they won't bite you either. I mean, it really does protect you very well.
Yep, and you're right, Dan. It affects the insect's nervous systems. Mm-hmm. So if a mosquito lands on you, it takes him a second to get situated there before he bites you. That's enough time that he's off of it. He's just not going to bite you.
Yeah.
And we found, you guys are in there, but being in Minnesota, we tend to grow a lot of mosquitoes up here. And if you're not covered, when the hatches are really bad and there's just a really high concentration of mosquitoes, they will bite you anywhere you're not covered. But with the Elimitech stuff, with a buff or the face mask or whatever, you can keep yourself pretty darn protected from those as well. So that's, to me, it's a nice add-on deal to the Elimitech. But what we were really after is, because of all the health issues And you just don't. It's not like you walk out there and you can hear them buzzing like mosquitoes. The ticks and chiggers are just there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where they're at, but they're there. And all of a sudden, you go in there and spend an afternoon or shed hunting or a morning turkey hunting or whatever, and you got issues. So this product is just like so many people. We were really skeptical when I first discovered the company that manufactures the chemical for it, and tested the heck out of it, and it's like, wow, this stuff absolutely works.
Yeah,
it's safe for kids.
Yeah,
babies,
ladies.
everything.
Yeah, ladies, if you're listening, they just came out with some new ladies clothing for a limited line in the limited line. So it's just not where you have to wear man's go a size lower or whatever. They've got specifically clothes for you guys now, or ladies. So
We do, yep, in both camo and solids on there, and then we came out with that, and I know you guys have been pestering me to get them down to you, but that product is just now arriving, so folks can jump on our website and see it all up there. But those buffs will be really handy for turkey hunting, and quite honestly, like you said, Dan, for fishing, you can throw that buff on and keep the mosquitoes away from your neck and face.
yeah, I'm excited about the buff. I did not, to be perfectly honest, I didn't like the other head net. I have to wear glasses, so it didn't fit me very well. But that buff's going to be awesome. So thanks for coming out with that.
Yeah,
Dave,
absolutely.
he almost said buffet. I'm excited about the buffet. I was like, Dan, we're talking about the limited buff here.
Hey, Mac, I'm just happy he's learned how to pronounce it.
What?
Yeah.
So we're doing good now.
I didn't say Windsy scent. I said a Limitek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Dave. I know that one question I get asked a lot about when it comes to the Limitek is, is it safe? With the chemical, with it, and also how long does it last? Is it gonna go away my first wash? Those are commonly asked questions.
And great questions. They really are. So the safety thing, you'll see if anybody purchases any of it, you'll see an EPA registration tag on there. So this has all been tested through the EPA, and it's safe for babies, infants, all of that. And it might help to have a little bit of a background, but so this chemical was really discovered in an African violet or a chrysanthemum plant. And this is just a man-made version of what they were finding in there. So the thing is safe, and it's fused to the fibers of the garment, like all the way through all the fibers inside and out. So the whole garment gets treated with this in our process, in the manufacturing process, and it'll last the life of the garment. So if you take clothes washings as a test on there, it's still 100% saturated through 70 full clothes washing cycles. And this is not getting wet. This is through a full normal wash machine cycle on there. And then, after 70, it'll drop a couple of percentage points, between 70 and 100 washings on there. It's still going to be effective. But that's a lot of washings if you think about it, especially for there's 52 weeks in a year. You'd be washing them every single week for, more than a year, and it's still at 100% on there. So it's pretty much past the life expectancy. In the apparel world, 70 clothes washings is what they that's kind of what your goal is, to make something last. If you can believe it, they test that. As a hunting wear manufacturer, it doesn't really play as much for us because in fact, I was just pulling out some items as we're doing product development that I've been wearing for years, and the one piece was from 2002 that I'm still wearing. So the stuff is built to last, and we're just not going to be washing them to that degree that we ever have to worry about that.
Well, I'm too clumsy to have anything left for 2002. Mine would have holes ripped all through them and everything else. So I would build the access panels if there was a Limitek back then for the bugs to try to get in, because I'll trip and fall over a fence or whatever. If there's a down fence or something, trust me, I'll find it.
Yeah, I do that myself actually. So I'm guilty of that.
And fortunately, guys, for me, more of us are like that, because otherwise, if everything lasted from 2002, I'd probably be out of business. But um,
Right.
we need stuff to get replaced once in a while. But that actually was, and you guys will appreciate this, that was a vest that we had built in 2002. So we've been working on that project.
Sure. I heard that before.
So
yeah, that's,
Let's listen to Dan.
yeah, that's fine.
Listen to Al. We've heard that before. Well, yeah. You had a 9-page dossier about that we had to look at just to say, well, okay, we have this pocket. It can only be a half-inch long. Zipper must go upward. This is for my plastic fork for my lunch.
Yeah. Now would be now we're getting into it's Now That's Cool segment, brought to you by Arctic Ice Blocks. The best way to keep your cooler stuff fresh is use Arctic Ice. The Tundra in Alaska especially, I love those. And folks, we're going to start answering questions here next week. If you want to get on the show, just go to either outdoorsdan.com or respectthegame.tv. Hit us up on Facebook. Just get us a question to us. It doesn't have to be anything really crazy. And if you do that and we use it here on the podcast, you're going to win some nice swag. So we'll start doing those next week, and that's courtesy of the fine folks at Arctic Ice. All right. We only got a couple minutes left, Mr. Dave. I got it real quickly now. Anything? Can we give like a little teaser of what we have coming out for the fall? Anything new for the fall?
For this fall, absolutely. We can, and you guys got to test. One of the things that we played with this last year, and got to you guys, is it's really a late season item. Is that no chill suit that you guys were using? For anybody hunting late season, it's a pretty great way to stay warm and comfortable without having to bulk up. Folks can go to the website now and see it. It's up on there. So people can see the stuff, that stock. I think we still have a few basically, preliminary run pieces in there for sale, but the bulk of that inventory will come in this July. So that piece is something pretty intriguing if you're going to spend all day sitting in a stand looking for that big whitetail or doing anything else where it's a cold weather hunt. They should definitely check that suit out. Yeah,
I used it. It worked great. Larry?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. And a lot of people, look at some of the other bodysuits that are offered out there, and I used some in Canada years ago. Well, I was really, really pleased with the maneuverability of it. I obviously we bow hunt a lot. I was able to really maneuver well, draw my bow back with that, and it's quiet. The material's quiet. It's not going to just fall down around your ankles or whatever. If you're standing up, it's got straps that hold it up. So I was really impressed with it, and I'm super excited about putting it to use, here in the future.
Yeah, and Philip Vanderpool actually spent the night in his ground blind in that to stay warm, and he ended up killing a drop tine in Kansas the next morning. He was chasing for forever. So that tells you something about Philip's dedication, but also tells you about the good stuff Gamehide puts out.
Yeah, what a great story that is.
Yeah.
To go in there and talking, we were talking about entries and exits from tree stands, and that whole story was about, Philip not being able to get in there in the morning. So he decided, okay, I'll go in and just spend the night.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, man. That's a great story.
There's no way I would have done that. No way. Nope, not going to happen.
I don't know, Dan. You see that buck he killed off of it.
Yeah.
I think there's a number of us that might have said, yeah, we can suffer through that if we get an opportunity at a buck like that.
I like Connie's cooking too much at Triple H Outfitters, buddy. There's no way.
That's a classic.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's the second. My nephew shot when you bring that up, I've never personally killed one with a good, I've got some kickers off of a few, but a good drop tine. But my nephew killed a great drop tine buck over in Wisconsin this year too. And pretty cool to see, I have opportunities and find character deer like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a bunch of folks will see if they head down to the Iowa Deer Classic where you guys will be at next week.
Yeah. I tell you, I give Philip a lot of trouble, but I don't know of a better bow hunter than Philip Vanderpool. I've known Philip for a long time, and he's probably one of the best videographers and bow hunters I've ever met in my life. And you got to tip your hat to Philip.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Dedicated, just like you and Larry are. And just like so many things in life, you kind of get out of what you put into it in many cases. And if you're a good, I guess, deer study guy and willing to put that time and effort and some people like Philip and Larry and yourself, Dan, you've got that instinct, to know where to sit and where not to sit and when to move and not move. And that makes you great hunters. So,
Well, some of us are hunters, some of us are watchers, and I excel at watching.
I've got a couple of buddies that would sit side by side with you because, gosh, they have more opportunities and just don't seem to get it done.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think they're using one of your gadgets too often. And not getting that.
Hey,
Just my gut.
I'm just trying to do it right. Larry was giving me grief. He's looking at all of my footage and going, "Why didn't you shoot him there?" Well, I didn't have the right angle. I could have shot that in my sleep right there. So I've been affectionately named the deer watcher of the show.
You guys have buddies like that. It is so true. Some people are just not, you know what I mean? They, for whatever reason, there's probably lots of reasons on there. Sometimes they just don't seem to get it done when the opportunity's there. And it's not that they're doing anything wrong. They're just maybe don't have that killer instinct in them.
No. Well, I like
experience though is what matters. The going there, we joke about it and stuff, but I mean, literally, it's all about that experience, and where somebody's comfortable and taking the shot and stuff. You got to be comfortable and happy with making sure that you're comfortable with being able to execute. I guess through the shot process and everything. Dan just likes that. Deer naturally look better from behind. So
he always likes to see that angle first.
Yeah, he wants to see that angle when they're walking away.
Hey, I will say this. In 33 years of bow hunting, I have never had an encounter with a buck. I had the same buck come in 5 different times this last season from grunting and rattling. I've never had that and I still couldn't get it done. So
that's awesome.
I was self-filming, and listen, Larry and them guys give me grief. That's fine. Self-filming and doing stuff on a production level is not easy. It's just not. And bow hunting.
Yeah, and the listeners that haven't done that, and obviously I'm not part of that crew, but I've been involved in that stuff enough over the years. It adds a whole nother element when you got to worry about what that camera's doing and seeing.
Yeah, see, some of us don't have the luck Larry does. I mean, Larry's so awesome he just exudes it as he walks in, and see the deer just trot up and they lift that shoulder and say, "Oh, Larry Mack, just shoot me, please."
Well, I can't ride in my truck. I mean, I gotta, I soak my clothes and doe pee and I got my own little secret recipes, molasses and stuff. You got to keep things moving a little bit just so you don't, your arms don't stick to your side. But it works.
Yeah, he puts that pure whitetail bedded up on his cornflakes in the morning.
Yep. And then exudes that scent out of my pores.
It exudes something, that's for sure.
That's fun. That's fun to hear everybody's stories. And here from a work standpoint, I always look at our job here at Gamehide is to find products or whatever that will help people stay out there longer and be comfortable or whatever. We try to do it so it's priced so a lot of folks can afford it. But we really do spend a lot of time trying to think, of ways to manufacture so things are quiet and gonna help you, even if you're a little subpar, Dan, to help you at least get in position so you can make that shot before he turns and walks away. But,
hey, I always say I need all the help I can get. Speaking of help, we're out of here. You guys have rambled so long. We're done. Hey, Dave, if someone wants more information about Gamehide clothing, where can they see that?
Yeah, just jump on Gamehide.com and you can jump on the website there. Our toll-free number is on there. You're happy, we're happy to chat with anybody if they want to call the office, but you can see all the products and stuff right at the website.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can also follow Gamehide Clothing on Facebook too. Don't forget that.
Absolutely. Instagram.
Yeah.
All those fun, a lot of great photos in there and fun ways to interact. So
all right, you get working on
anybody following us.
You get working on that vest, and we'll get out there chasing gobblers with that Olympic. Larry Mack, thanks for everything, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for coming on, Dave. Appreciate it. It's been a good time, bud.
You got it, guys. Yep, I appreciate you guys, and everybody. Good luck out getting outside, and let's go enjoy it.
Yeah, Larry Mack, where can they find more information out on Respect the Game TV?
You can go to, obviously, Instagram, Facebook, Respect the Game TV is the pages there. You can go to respectthegame.tv, the website. Shoot us over some questions. So if you got questions about a limited product, we'd be more than happy to answer those. So, yeah, good luck to everybody this spring. If you got questions about anything, just reach out.
There you go. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. The podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at Sportsman's Warehouse. Over 112 locations nationwide, only a click away at sportsmans.com. And for all your cooler options, go check out arctic-ice.com and check out the Alaskan and Tundras. That's our favorite. Till next time, we'll catch you right here on It's All Outdoors with Outdoors Dan and Larry Mack. See you, everybody.